Hello there, homesteaders, it's Miss O Plays, and this week's video comes directly from some of those requests that I've been seeing in the comments of my videos. That is to say, it's a tutorial on how I went about getting these Habs for my new Atlantis outpost to sit so snugly on the water and give us that really interesting living carpet effect. And I'm also going to cover how I made those walkways that connected them to the land as well. So now we know what we're going to take a look at. Let's get stuck in and see how it's done. So to start with, obviously we're going to need a body of water to build in, and ideally one with one of these gradual inclines into the water, because that's going to make getting started a little bit easier. And then once we've selected our location, we're going to pull out this airlock and try to place it in the water at the exact point it becomes viable to place. So we want to get this landing area above the steps to sit right on top of the water. And if you get it right, we should see the water inside the hab in just a minute. And you can kind of see, I think, some of the algae there on the inside of the airlock. Sometimes it looks like it's right on top of the water, but it's just a hair off and you won't get that living carpet. But if that happens, all I gotta do is try and replace it in just a little bit closer. So next, we're going to go get the big round glass hab. Now the carpet only works on the round habs, and the glass one is great because, as you can see, once we've placed it, we can see if it works without having to go inside and check, as you can see it through the roof there. And then if you want it to go with one of the plain white ones, you can just switch it out and know it's still going to be successful. And then as we step inside, you can see that living carpet in all its glory. Sometimes you got more coverage, sometimes less. So even if there's only a little bit showing, do not be discouraged. It's going to change a lot throughout the day. Now the only habs that get the full carpet effect are these round ones, and here in the sciencey white one you can see not as much coverage going on right now, but like I say, that will change. But even though the other habs don't get the same amount of coverage, it does actually still look pretty cool. My second favorite one for this technique is the military hab, but you get it sitting inside these grates, and it doesn't have the glass over it either, so it looks a little bit flooded, which I think is perfect for some of those habs that might want to have more of a dilapidated feel. The slanted wall glass and science habs also work with it. We can get a little bit showing up through these troughs here where we have this piping, and both the square and hexagonal habs also get a little bit around the edges. And I kind of like it again in that sort of dilapidated way, but the straight walled square ones won't work at all. And one other artwork of sitting your habs this close to the water level is the toilet, and this is the only one I found so far that does this. Will give up a warning saying you can't place it in water, so you have to place it on a rug somewhere first and then bring it in the hab if you want to use one of these in one of your outposts that are sitting this close to the water. Now obviously these green effects look fantastic, but other ones look good too. If you can find a biome with some of that ice floating on top of the water, that makes a really nice effect using this technique. Or in some places you can even find some kind of muddy water that you can bring out on top, like here in one of the volcanic biomes. And obviously this does not have that luxury quality to it, but again, if you wanted to do something that looked a bit dilapidated, dirty, or abandoned, then something like this would work well. Now maybe you want to build your outpost a little further out into the water, and if you want to do that, we still got to start with that airlock to get everything in position. But then we just need to go over to our structures menu and pick up one of those hallway pieces, and then we just bring that back as far as we want our outpost to be off land. So I'm just going to put 3 of those for now, and then we put our hab into position, delete those hallway pieces, and put in our airlock into that spot. And now, as you can see, we're further from land if you wanted something a little bit more offshore. And of course, if we're going to be this far from the shore, we're going to need a bridge to get to it. So for that, we're going to go back to building with rugs like I did in that previous tutorial. And we're going to start off by making an L with this one piece over here, and then we're going to line these rugs off of that tab down this line of hallway pieces. And for this particular one, I like to use these hallway pieces because those walls, having them in so narrow, helps me keep these rugs pretty straight, gives you a really good guideline. It's also gonna help with the next part, which is when we start putting in those guardrails. But for now, we got our rugs, we got our hallway pieces. I'm just gonna tile these all the way down until I think I've got far enough to get to shore. And then when I think I've got a pretty good length going on, we're gonna go back up to the top and then hit up the furniture part of the menu. And for this, I like to use these benches. The benches are great because they always merge with each other, so you can have custom lengths if you don't get them perfect. I'm going to start up at the top because this first bit up here is going to be where it's going to meet with the jetty, and you know, that landing with the stairs. I'm just going to line these up all the way down, and this is where those walls come in useful again. They help me keep these straight, and we still got a little bit of land, as you can see, off to the side, and that means that we can get these benches to sit further out from the rugs than we would if we had the rugs floating over the water already. If we did this when we had the rugs outside, we'd have to make them a lot closer because the game wouldn't let us put them down because it would perceive it as not having enough support. But even though they won't stick to these hallway pieces, they're offering support right now, so they make the game happy. And if the game's happy, then you'll be a little happier. But let's face it, it's always finicky, so that happiness can always be fleeting. So we're going to take this all the way down, all the way down. It's actually starting to look a little bit wonky, but not too bad for a video. But as you can see, like, these walls make a pretty good guideline. We're going to do that all the way up to the top and get that close to that first L, but not all the way to it because we don't want it to intersect with the railing. So we got our bridge complete here, and now we're just going to grab it whilst we are inside the hab and switch to that free cam mode. That's how we're going to get it outside. Place it somewhere safely over on the shore. If I can find a place where it will turn gray. This is a little easier when we're not still building on a hill. Nope. Once we got that set safely outside, we're going to go outside ourselves and start making the landing for that bridge to sit on. So I'm going to go outside the airlock and then over to those rugs again. If I can find them. Oh, here they are. If I could stop overshooting it. And we're just going to build out from here using the rugs to get a little bit of a landing zone just past these railings, so there shouldn't be any collision problems when we bring our bridge back in. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go over to FreeCam, pick this back up, come on over to my airlock once again, and this should place pretty tidily to finish off that walkway. And again, we're using that collision detection forgiveness trick with the rug, meaning that because it thinks that this rug here at the top is the only one that exists, we can get this bridge to go sit into the earth at the other end, and that makes it look a little bit more organic and a little less jarring if we can just sink those down a bit. And there you have it. That is how I've been doing the walkways to those slightly sunken outpost habs. So for all the people who are struggling to recreate this for themselves, I hope that cleared up a few things. And for anybody seeing this for the first time, then maybe go check out my new Atlantis outpost tour to see this technique in action. And as always, before I sign off, if you found anything in this video in any way useful or entertaining, please drop me a like and subscribe. And I'll be back again, as always, next week with more building tips, ships, and outpost tours. Till then, bye!